Hello, this is Donna. I would like to welcome you to another amazing episode of You Are Designed for Greatness. Chrystal and I have been trying to get together for a while, and I am excited to finally get our interview going on having her share all of her wisdom. I met Chrystal virtually, and she lives in a different part of the world than me, but learning to be able to appreciate the gifts and the things that she's learned. And I can't wait to share what she has discovered even recently with you. So, Chrystal, where do you live?
I live in Santa Barbara wine country in California, so just north of Santa Barbara in a little tiny town called Solvang. So it's a fun little
I've heard
town.
it's beautiful there.
It is beautiful. It's a funky little Danish town, but coming from San Francisco, when I eventually moved down here, I love and appreciate that I'm here with my kids. It's really a wonderful place to raise a family.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. So, what do you do for a living?
Well, I am a consultant for hospitality and high-end product businesses and higher-end premium strategists and consultants that are looking for how to really authentically align themselves to be in that right place at the right time to grow their business. So one of my gifts and talents is sales and premium sales.
Awesome. That is amazing. And you have children. What do you have? How many do you have?
I have two boys.
Two boys.
Yeah.
A mom of boys.
I am a single mom of two boys, but I have a very loving, incredible boyfriend who also just helps me remind myself that being a mom of boys is very different, because it's like watching a National Geographic episode, the need to wrestle and argue. And literally yesterday on Mother's Day, all I wanted was a photo. And my boyfriend was videoing the whole experience, like, don't do that, touch this. He took my hat and I'm going to punch you. And it was like 5 minutes of arguing just to get this one photo.
Oh, my favorite statement that I've heard moms of boys exclusively, they don't have girls, they just have boys, say
That's
is
me.
Why?
Oh, wow. Yep.
Why?
All the time. It's as if they just figure out their superpower is farting and hitting. And then that's like as far as it goes.
Oh,
special shout out.
Yes, a special shout out to mama boys.
Yep, it's a special breed to raise all boys.
Yes, it is. My youngest daughter has two boys, and until then we had all granddaughters. And so, yeah, it was like, okay, hello, here are the boys. So yes, that is wonderful. So what's some things that have been on your mind lately that you would like to share with the women who want to know that they were designed for greatness?
Oh my goodness. Well, we were just talking about before we hopped on recording that, as women, we are designed. I mean, men are too, don't get me wrong. I love men. I love women. I love all of God's creation. But what's so interesting is that the female perspective is how we show up in accordance to our surroundings, right? We're very aware, and we were built that way because if you think about eons ago, we needed community. We needed to be in connection. We need to know where our place was and how we connected with others. Well, the masculine, this is a very traditional statement, but the masculine would go out and hunt and gather, which is beautiful, but also means that sometimes we absorb stories from our own lineage that can keep us trapped in a thought pattern we don't realize. And it serves us well because it keeps us safe in a community. But as we're really experiencing, we're no longer living in generations, right? There's very few of us that are living with 3 generations of family together. Oftentimes, like me, I'm living on one side of the coast, and my parents are moving to the Carolinas. So there's a gap. And so I'm really present with the stories that I show up with every day. And there is one, I'll just give an example. A story that I didn't realize, where I'm always feeling like we're running late, or sometimes my kids will think we're running late, or I feel like there's never enough time. Maybe there's not enough time for me to be who I meant to be,
Mhm.
or there's never enough money, or
Right.
there's this idea of scarcity, like it's not going to work out. And it was just recently, and I say this with abundant love for my mother, that spending a weekend with her, I just stayed curious instead of being in my story of a relationship with her, of, defending against her or agreeing with her. I just stayed curious, and I just stayed very aware of these little messages that were coming through all weekend long. No matter what the message was, it was from 6:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night. We got to go. We got to go do something. What are we going to do next? Wait, we have to get there early. We're not going to get parking. We're going to be late to the restaurant. There's not enough time. And we were constantly surrounded with that message.
Mhm.
And so I came back this morning in my journal time and I just wrote, what would I be with time? Instead of that message of, well, what if I believe the opposite to be true? There's more than enough time. There's more than enough money. There's more than enough of me.
Yep.
And it was so interesting because instantly my egoic or my shadow or my inner self was like, well, that's not true. There's not enough time. You're this age. You only have so much time left. And you've already been through a bad divorce. There's already this trauma in your life. You don't have time to fix it.
Yep.
And that the essence of the story, which in this case is scarcity, right? Not enough time, not enough of me, not enough experience. I don't have money, whatever it is, all these experiences that were all around me, the story is simply feeding one version of myself.
Yeah.
And so when I sat there this morning, I said, well, what would I have to believe to be true to have the opposite experience? Can I just say that that was really hard for me?
Yeah.
Because even though I know this, I coach it, I
Yes.
consult it, I see it in others. When I really sat in it and I just got quiet, like, well, what was the story that was just really around me today and yesterday and the day before and this weekend? And when I looked at it, and then I looked at how does that show up in my life? And I could see how that own story served me really well because it kept me safe with my mother. It kept me safe in that pattern.
Yep.
It doesn't keep me safe anymore. I don't need to be that safe little girl making sure that I'm keeping safe with my mom. I need to be a beautiful, vibrant woman who's living her life with a new story.
Yes.
So one of the pieces that I coach on is the power of permission. How do we really look at where we set our own thermometer of life? Gay Hendricks calls it your upper limit. How do we really look at that? And how do we look at our own kind of inner glass ceiling of going, oh, nope, this is where we are. This is as far as we can go. We were raised this way. This is the story we were told. This is what we've created. Well, what if we want to change that? How do we change that? Yep. How do we become somebody that we really truly desire or are designed to be? Yep. If we're designed for greatness, it means that we definitely get to design the new steps.
Yes.
The first step to that design process, Donna, is the power of permission, because here's where the real truth happens. Just because you want something different doesn't make it happen.
Yes.
Acknowledging what you don't like. Gosh, I was abused as a child, or gosh, I was in a narcissistic marriage, or gosh, all my money got taken from me, or gosh, whatever that story is, recognizing it, not liking it, but saying, yes, that happened to me. And I accept that. And I now give myself permission to create something new. It's in that sweet surrender spot of accepting and allowing. And that was recently for my birthday. I said, you know what my year is? Because I believe birthdays are a year to kind of create a new motto, a new vision. So my birthday was last week. And I said, my birthday year is about the sweet surrender. It's about witnessing what is, what has been, and then giving myself permission to create something new. And that power of permission, I even have a power of permission statement. It's that even though I've experienced, and I write out whatever it is, my old beliefs. So it can be, even though I've experienced my whole life the idea of scarcity, or even though I was married to a bipolar gentleman or whatever, even though, and it was really hard and I suffered for years, The next sentence is the most important sentence. I now give myself permission to create. And then it has to be the next thing, a life of love, a life of freedom, a life of abundance. And then the third line needs to be, how do you want to feel? Because we're, especially as women, are designed to feel.
Right.
So it's not just in your intellect. You have to align your intellect with your heart, so that I will feel peace, so that I will feel comfort, so that I will feel whatever it is. Abundance isn't a feeling. Peace is the feeling when you have abundance. If you want to get to the feeling, typically ask yourself a few more times, well, if I had abundance, how would I feel? Happy.
Right.
Okay, but if I was happy, how would I really feel? So you go down. Usually it's peace.
Right. Yeah,
It's really
peace is a big one.
peace.
Peace is a big one.
Yeah. So for me, just being present and witnessing the story and then taking time to look at it and go, gosh, that's so interesting. Now, is that the best version of me, or is that an old version of me? And it's kind of like our computers, right? I just got an update. There's another software update for my computer. I think, well, if my computer can update it, gosh darn it, why can't I?
Yes.
Why can't I take the time? So this little sentence that I do, the power of permission, is kind of it's my version.
I love that so much. We were chatting a bit before we started recording. We often do this when we're coaching, is I have people describe what their story is. What have they been saying about themselves? And we don't even think about it as a story. We think about it's who we are, which, which is separating the story from who I am, or who I could be. But mine is I would say, finish this sentence. Life is what? Yeah. And yours was, there's not enough. And mine was, life is hard, which it meant every endeavor, every relationship, even cleaning the house, or laundry, or, going to the grocery store. If your motto, life is hard, you run into struggle everywhere you go. And I'm like, I'm really done. I'm really done with this.
You're ready for an upgrade.
I'm ready totally for an upgrade. I'm like, I'm going to choose. And my new motto is I rise every day with ease, power, and light, just like the sun.
Oh, I love that.
And I say it every morning. And I have been doing it for a year. I rise with ease, power, and light, just like the sun. And I cannot believe how easy life has gone. And I'm doing the same things.
Right.
Just by me choosing to write a new story. And I love the words you use, because it touches on the emotions and all of those things that are necessary to make those transitions. But I ask myself often, what do you need to give yourself permission? What do you need to give yourself permission to do or say? What do you need to say yes to? What do you need to say no to?
Yes. And the other thing, what I didn't know, what do I need to give myself permission to let go of?
Ooh, yes.
Because I kept saying yes. And that old fable where the dog had the bone and it was looking in the it's almost as if sometimes our story becomes so important, because if we let go of it, we don't know who we are.
Yes, absolutely.
And that hit me just recently. I was reading David Hawkins' book, Letting Go. And I thought, if I let go of the story of being taken advantage of, or bad partners, or abusive ex-husband, or blah, 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 well, who am I? And who else is going to hold them accountable for their crappy actions?
Which is a whole nother myth.
Right. So I have held on to this gosh darn story, not even consciously, because I've done all kinds of work. I'm, certified hypnotherapist. I'm a coach. I'm a blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't until I got quiet and I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I was holding on secretly. It was almost my little secret thing. I just kept to me but it just sat there and it became my story.
Yep.
Just because it was like my blankie to my shadow self.
Yep.
Because who else is going to hold them accountable?
Yeah, which is a whole nother myth because, that doesn't really work.
No, I know. And so
Yeah,
by me really, if you, I'm sure have you read Letting Go with David Hawkins?
I haven't yet.
Oh, wow. It is so good. It is so good because it also, it just goes into like where we handle certain emotions and why and how hard it is just to let go. Be like, okay, that happened. And I think as little kids, we're trained to be able to okay, that, but you're okay now. So instead of just being present, like, oh, I know that did hurt, but you know what? You could try again tomorrow. We got parented a lot like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Here, you want ice cream? So we just shove it down instead of letting it go, of experiencing it and saying, okay, try again. Okay, try again. And the people who actually do let it go are the healthiest people. And he does
Yeah.
a whole study on it about people who have the best immunity are the ones who just let stuff go. Very valuable lesson there for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So if people wanted to learn more about what you do and get in touch with you, how would they reach out to you?
Absolutely. So crystalclifton.com is my website.
Mhm.
There is a place to book a call. I'll also look for the link that we could put in the show notes where I have a power of permission statement and a training on what I do for the power of permission. It
Awesome.
is such a powerful tool. I truly encourage anybody to use it at any point in their life. My clients use it every day and see a difference.
That sounds amazing. We will put those links in the show notes to be able to reach out to you. So in closing, what's something else that words of wisdom you'd like to drop to them?
Being designed for greatness also means that you're the designer. I think we also release the power to somebody else, thinking that, well, if however God has intended, or my fiance or my husband or my partner or my kids, we think they design us. And we forget that it actually means we design ourselves. And that's really where that permission steps in of like, well, how would you design it? Did you stay this way? Would you think this way? And what if you could change it? And I went to recently Harry Potter World with my son and I bought a magic wand so I could remember that I do have that intention to create a new story with a new magic wand. So that's what I would leave
Awesome.
with words of wisdom.
That is a great nugget. Thank you for sharing your story and thank you for sharing this powerful tool to be able to get rid of the ceilings and the limits. I was doing one recently and I just came out of my mouth, it's like out of the box thinking. And I'm like, who put us in the box?
Yes.
It's like who put us in the box, and it's cardboard. Let's get out of the box. Let's remove the box and let's be all that we can be. And that is something that's ongoing. And it's so much fun to discover and grow every year, to discover and grow and become. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your light. Thank you for making a difference in everything that you do, Chrystal.
Thank you, Donna. Take care.
Well, that was another wonderful conversation with another amazing woman. And I really like her closing remarks of, if you were the architect of your life and you could work in cooperation with God to create the life and design the life you would love, what would that look like? I have 2 programs, Turn Your Baggage into Luggage and Life by Design, Not by Default. And if you feel like you've processed your baggage, Life by Design, Not by Default, and actually having the tools and creating the spiritual intelligence to create the life you love would be a great, great opportunity for you to check out. All you have to do is schedule a conversation with me, and let's discover what some resources are so that you can learn to pick up the paintbrush and paint your life, pick up the architect tools, and design the life that you would love. Rewrite the story and create a brand new one. So, as always, this is Donna telling you to live vibrantly. I believe in you, and you were designed for greatness. Until next time, bye for now.